Hola Amigo, welcome back to Mabelreact. I am Mabel, and today we are going to Thailand. I'm seeing this is the title said, why you hate living in Thailand. Why would anybody hate living in Thailand? I don't know, let's find out together. But before we get into it, if you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop your thoughts in the comment section. Yeah, and let's hit it.
Recently, Thailand has gotten a lot of hype for being one of the best destinations for digital nomads and expats. You have tons of creators hyping it up and saying how life there is better than it is in the US. Are these creators telling the truth, or are they just selling a pipe dream? My name is Wes, and I'm an international lifestyle and relocation consultant. Last year, I got the opportunity to live in Thailand, and it was truly an amazing experience. However, it's very hard for me to consider it for long-term living. Let me explain why. So before getting to all of the cons, I want to talk about the pros of living in Thailand. I think the first thing you have to talk about is the cost of living. It is significantly cheaper living in Thailand. I think the cost of living index shows that it's 55% cheaper than the US. Rent can cost you as low as $300 or up to maybe $1,000 or more if you want a really nice penthouse. The food is undoubtedly amazing. I would even say some of the best in the world. Thailand is essentially one big food court. There is tons of food options everywhere, from the streets to food courts in the malls. If you love Asian food like me, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Thai, Viet, they have everything in Thailand for an extremely affordable price. Thai people are some of the best people you will ever meet. It's in their culture just to be a lot more laid back and really chill, and the Buddhist roots have really promoted just this peaceful lifestyle that is very welcoming to foreigners. Overall, it's a very safe society. Chiang Mai is the safest city in Southeast Asia, and you feel it. The Buddhist roots really promote this culture of peace, and when you're walking around Thailand, I don't really have any fear that anyone's gonna rob me or anything. If you like the beach and tropical weather, there are many beautiful places to see in Thailand. I also practiced Muay Thai when I was there, which was a really amazing experience. I've had other martial arts training, but Muay Thai is definitely a more intense experience, and seeing a Muay Thai fight in real life is an awesome time. I also love Thai massages, and you can find massages of any kind. Just the regular body Thai massage will cost you maybe around $15. You can also find some specialty massages, such as the car side genital massage. It's not a sexual massage, but look it up. It helps massage your sex organs. This other one that I tried called the Chine Sang, which is an organ massage where they push into your stomach. It's like some Eastern holistic medicine. I really feel like a lot of that stuff works, and I felt genuinely a lot better after doing those massages. As a vacation spot, Thailand is one of the best places to visit, but living there is a different story. So for me, the main problem with Thailand is the infrastructure. There's no good public transport. Yes, in Bangkok they have the metro, but it's not as extensive as some of the metro systems in Europe, for example. You can take Grabs everywhere, which is cheap. I personally really enjoy the moto taxi. For trips over 30 to 40 minutes, it can kind of get very uncomfortable. And if you order an Uber in places like Bangkok, the traffic at some times are insane. I would say Vietnam probably has the worst traffic in the world, but Bangkok traffic.
I've always loved Thailand. I didn't know someone can say there are some things that you wouldn't like. I don't think there's any country that doesn't have their down parts. You know, it's his own point, his own view, or his own experience. Another person's experience will be different. He said they have amazing food, that any type of food you want to eat, you will enjoy it there because they have amazing food, which I like. Also, they do all this holistic practice like massage and all that, which me personally will also want to encounter, because some modern massage, all your organs will start functioning properly, you know. And yeah, but let's keep watching.
Is also quite terrible. Generally, it's quite dirty. I think you can say this about most of Southeast Asia, the Philippines, Vietnam. I usually have a lot of difficulty breathing in Southeast Asia because there's a lot of air pollution. Humid weather, plus gas, plus dust, all of those things combined, it's just, you're gonna have a bad time. Something that you really take for granted is not having drinkable tap water. Even in Colombia, in most places there, you could drink tap water, but in Thailand, you're gonna be buying a lot of bottled water, which I try to avoid. It's not very walkable. It's very car and moto based. If you want to get anywhere, you're pretty much always going to have to order a Grab. Cross-city travel is all right with the buses, but you're mainly going to be taking flights. There's not a lot of good train options like they have here in Europe. And in general, it's just very crowded and there's a lot of noise. I would say Chiang Mai is definitely a lot more peaceful, but the beach cities, Pattaya, and especially Bangkok, is just so chaotic for me. I personally can't really stand environments like that. I think something that a lot of people underestimate are the cultural differences. this. I'm Asian and I even felt like an outsider in Thailand. Maybe not everybody would feel this, but this is something that I struggled with a lot in Colombia. I spoke the language, I got really assimilated into the culture, but after a few years, I realized that I was never going to be Colombian and they were always going to treat me as an outsider. And when everything went south with my ex-wife, that's exactly what happened. Thailand is a nice place for everybody because they're generally very welcoming and accepting of other people and cultures.
Yeah,
however, you can never be a part of the
people.
Thai people and truly be accepted as one of their own. I'm Chinese Filipino, but a lot of my culture is a lot closer to East Asian culture than it is to Southeast Asian culture. However, I do have to say that it is nice being around people that look like me again. Asians in general, we all just kind of look alike. I was able to blend in quite nicely there, at least physically, but I felt culturally I was always going to be an outsider. I think you can make the argument that I'm going to feel like an outsider pretty much anywhere in the world, and I think this is an issue that a lot of immigrant children face. But coming from a Western first world country, I think for a long-term stance, it's better for me to settle down in a Western first world country, which is why I love Poland so much. There may be a lot of people in Bangkok that speak English, but for the most part, Thai people don't really
Cultural differences. Yeah, sometimes it's not like when you visit a new country or a new place, and it's always a feeling that you are not being accepted, because I'm speaking from my own point of view. It's always a feeling that you're not being accepted because of what you are thinking in your head. Sometimes it does not appear that way or something like that. They're very, very welcoming people, which I have always loved. Thai people seem very welcoming. Yeah, but the part of you not feeling accepted is not just because they didn't tell you to your face, but it's just a feeling. It could be wrong when you finally get to settle down there for a long time. I think it's just about feeling like what we feel. Sometimes it's not always like that. Yeah.
speak English. I think if you look online, they say that 20% of the population speaks English. Most of those people only really know basic phrases to cater to tourists. If you're considering living there long term, I feel like you're gonna have to pick up the language at some point. And Thai suffers a similar problem as Polish. They're both very niche languages that aren't very useful outside of their countries. I think it's really hard to get the full experience of a country if you don't speak the local language. I personally really wanted to learn Spanish because it's an extremely useful language. You can travel through all of South America. Thankfully, many countries in Europe do speak English on top of their home language, so it's a lot easier to integrate into European society. But in places like Ukraine or Latin America, Thailand, Vietnam, the people here still don't really speak English. This is actually one of the main issues that I have with content creators in Thailand. They never talk about the language barrier, and many people who live there have not even attempted to learn the language. So you only really get a superficial view of what it's like living there. You only can really interact with like 10% of the population. Maybe it's cool if you're there for a few months or if you're just looking to retire there. In my opinion, if I'm planning on staying in a place for a long period of time, I want to eventually learn the language and integrate into the culture. One of the biggest draws of Thailand is sexual tourism, very similar to Colombia. But unlike Colombia, Thailand also attracts visitors of all different types. You have a lot of families going there for vacation, you have a lot of backpackers.
Okay, language barrier. Yeah, I've noticed that Thai people, they speak mostly their local language, you know, but I didn't know that they don't speak English. But I've seen so many of them that speak English, or maybe just a small percentage of them. There are so many places like that that they don't speak English. It's not just about Thailand, but it is good to learn English. And when you're coming to a place like that, you should also have it in mind that you need to learn their language, because that way you will get to enjoy the place more. And that is why I feel like when he said they are not accepting him, maybe because he doesn't understand their language. If you understand a language, it will make you more relaxed and more comfortable. So the best thing to do is when you get to a new place, try to blend, then learn their language and their lifestyle as well.
Digital nomads, there is a big population of men going there for sexual tourism. And this is most prominent in cities like Bangkok and Pattaya. I just don't like living in a country where sexual tourism is one of its main draws, because I feel like it attracts a certain kind of digital nomad that I generally don't like to associate with. And in Southeast Asia, because I'm Asian, I feel a type of way about it because I kind of see them as my own people. I also don't find Thai women particularly attractive, to be honest. I feel like the most attractive women are usually the working girls. And if they speak English, they're usually messing around with all the other gringos. Vietnam, to me, has the most beautiful Asian women in the world. You would think that because they're right next to each other, they're similar, but they are not similar at all. At this point in my life, finding a steady long-term relationship is a priority for me. Thailand doesn't seem to be like a really good option for that. Thailand has one of the highest cheating rates in the world, and the women are super chill and fun to hang out with, but I feel like it's quite rare that people claim that Thai women are the best women in the world to marry.
Wow.
Maybe you can prove me wrong, but that's just what I've heard. So this is just a personal preference, but I am not a big fan of hot and humid tropical weather. I love cold weather. I prefer 0 over 30 any day of the week. My first month in Thailand was really rough because I was still adjusting to the heat and the humidity, and I was experiencing a lot of skin problems. When you have AC on all the time, it also kind of makes you sick. There's also the issue of burning season in places like Chiang Mai, where 4 to 5 months out of the year, the air is completely unbreathable because of all of the smoke and contamination in the air. Chiang Mai is the only city that I would really consider living long term because it more fits my vibe and what I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, I enjoy living in a place with 4 seasons. I love being able to dress for different weathers because I feel like life is more dynamic and I love watching the seasons change. A lot of people may not understand this, but I think Thailand is too chill of a place and it makes me lose a lot of motivation to want to work and push myself. I think it makes it a very good place for retirement, but if you're someone in your 20s and 30s, Thailand may not be the best option. I personally didn't see myself growing that much in Thailand. If you guys have watched my channel for a while, you know that I love to smoke marijuana. I'm the kind of person where if I have it, I want to smoke it a lot, but if I don't have it, I don't really go out seeking for it. Now that it's legal in Thailand, it's so readily available everywhere and you're constantly smelling it on the street, it always makes me more tempted to want to smoke. Now it has some of the highest quality marijuana in the world, which is great. However, if you're focused on trying to make money and working, it probably isn't the best environment to be in. I also don't really see myself living in a beach city. In Southeast Asia, my favorite beach city was Da Nang, but I can't see myself living there for the long term. It's more of just like 1 month at a time, and then I want to go back to regular civilization. After a while, I do feel like it does get very boring because you're kind of doing the same things, going to the beach, going to a bar, playing pool. And in some places, for example, like Pattaya, it's pretty much just partying and sexual tourism. I like to be doing business in the place that I'm living, and it seems like there's not a lot of really big business opportunities in Thailand at the moment. Maybe you can find that in some places in Bangkok, but a lot of the friends that I know that have lived in Bangkok are only really there temporarily because they enjoy how cheap it is to live there, not because they really want to be doing business there. I love Thailand and would personally go back. However, Vietnam was a much better of an experience for me, and I may talk about that in another video. Do you guys agree or disagree? Share your thoughts down below.
Everyone's experience is different. What he's saying is his own opinion, that's his own personal experience. Another person will come out and say a different thing, but most of the things he said could also be from his own perspective. Yeah, I've not been to Thailand before. I don't know how their lifestyle is. I don't know how good the place is, But and one thing I know, I'm sure that is that they really don't speak English that much. It's mostly their language that they speak. Yes, I just wish they can, at least if they can speak English, most people, they will attract more tourists. We wish to visit Thailand someday to also get to tell my own experience. Yeah, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and drop your thought in the comment section. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next.